So, continuing our 10th annual Halloween special series. This year we're talking mainly about the Alien and Predator movies. Yesterday we were talking about the Alien quadrilogy. Today we're going to be talking about the 4 standalone Predator movies. So, that would be 1987's Predator starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, 1990's Predator 2 starring Danny Glover, 2010's Predators starring Adrian Brody, and 2018's The Predator starring Olivia Munn and Thomas Jane.
Well, there was that time when you were certain there was an alien running around Buff's farm. And you had to get out the black light to find it, and there was like glowing substances. Like, if it jises, we can kill it.
So yeah, we're talking about Predator today. Sorry, Buff, if you caught any of that. I don't know how much of that was recording before we started. In fact, does that count as this year's Buff joke? Because we do it every Halloween, don't we? What a way to open a video. I'll keep all this in anyway. So yeah, this year we're talking about the Alien and Predator movies. Yesterday we talked about the Alien franchise. Today we're going to talk about the 4 cinema-released standalone Predator movies. So that begins in 1987, I believe, with the film Predator. Just the word Predator. I'll elaborate on why I said that, made a point of that. That was one with Arnold Schwarzenegger. That's the one everyone remembers and loves. It was very quotable. What's your early memories of watching that film?
It'd be one of those things that would have been on like terrestrial television and like cut down. So I can remember my dad would record shit like that that'd be on. I think it'd be like a Friday night or something. So we'd usually watch it on like a weekend, like in the mornings, kind of thing. Like on video, to taped it from the night before.
Yeah. Yeah, I seem to remember it being on a Saturday night. That was when I first saw. I think that was like the network television premiere of the film. A lot of Arnie films had come out around that time as well. So I think we would have been about 10, 11, 12, something like that at most.
Yeah, like I say, I could definitely remember watching it on a weekend, like before lunch, like it's just something you put on TV to keep us quiet.
Yeah. So it was directed by John McTiernan, who went on to do Die Hard and a few other films like that. And it was another one that was kind of a vehicle for Arnold Schwarzenegger at the time. Obviously, it was more of a Schwarzenegger film than a Predator film, because obviously I hadn't been established at that point. That's the only one that he's in, thankfully. And it was not evident straight away when you're watching the film that there is an alien in this. Well, not an alien as in the Alien movies, but an extraterrestrial, a predator. Or what does Mr. H reviews refer to the predators as?
The Yautja.
The Yautja. So yeah, but it becomes evident. Obviously, you're dealing with an alien life form in this film. Interestingly, yeah, I remember when I was a kid, there was a thing going around that Jean-Claude Van Damme was the Predator, especially in Predator 2. And I always said that's absolute bollocks. There's no truth in that, and there isn't in terms of what you see in the film. But as it turned out, he did actually. He was supposed to be the Predator. They filmed a lot of stuff with him before they kind of redesigned the thing. It was supposed to be like a lizard monster or something, and he was just basically a stuntman in Hollywood at the time. He'd got some stuff that was kind of up and coming. He was working on, but yeah, he was a stuntman. And I've heard various stories as to why he kept getting fired over the years. One was that he kept passing out in the suit because it was too hot. And he kept passing out, and he was told if you pass out again, you're fired. And he passed out and got fired. But it depends who you ask, and there's a lot of credible sources, but they all have very different stories, so it's difficult to definitively know. But that was the first Predator that he was supposed to be in. Bit of trivia for you there.
Yes.
So that was a big movie. I'm sure most people have seen the film. We don't need to say what happens in it. But it was a big success, and obviously Arnie Films, he was a bankable actor at the time, so putting him in a film like this was a safe bet. And that was in 87, and then 3 years later, 3 years later, 1990, we had the sequel, Predator 2. Quite a different film. Obviously, the first Predator is set in the jungle. The second one is the urban jungle. It's set in LA in the futuristic year of 97. The movie came out in 1990. And you had street gangs, all that kind of stuff going on in this hot summer. And the Predator is visiting. Again, it's a different Predator that you saw from the first one. But the main character is it Harrigan, I think he's called? Played by Danny Glover.
Yeah, Mike Harrigan.
Yeah. These films, the first two especially, have a lot of actors that you see in a lot of like your classic like 80s and 90s action films, whether it's Robert Darby or Carl Weathers, Jesse Ventura. Obviously, Bill Paxton, who was in Aliens, plays a different character in Predator, because obviously the Aliens movies were set in the future. The Predator movies were generally set in the day when they come out. There's some discussion that the character that you see, played by Bill Paxton, in Predator 2, is getting names wrong. Is like a what do you call, like a great grandfather of the Hudson character from Aliens. Quite an interesting one. So obviously that movie was the first one where we referenced that the Alien and Predator movies were connected, because at the end of it, Danny Glover goes into the main spaceship of the Predators, and there are a load of skulls that these guys have been collecting as trophies, and one of them is a xenomorph alien. I kind of saw that as more of like an in-joke, not necessarily like them saying, yes, these movies are definitely in the same universe.
Yeah, I think that's been pretty much like confirmed. It was like, it was more like, a tongue-in-cheek kind of nod to, the audience kind of thing, not supposed to be like, setting up a big shared universe. Like, nah, that wasn't the plan.
Yeah, because you get this a lot. I mean, in like Star Wars, I think there's like a spinner from the movie Blade Runner. That doesn't mean, oh my god, like, these movies are connected. It was a joke.
Yeah, and aren't there like ETs in like the prequel movies?
Yeah, exactly. Good example. So yeah, but having said that, there were comics that did Alien vs Predator prior to Predator 2, so it was a bit of fan service as well for them, even though it was a small kind of thing at the time.
Yeah, it was very good with some of the comics. I know, especially like the original, like Alien vs Predator that they did was pretty memorable and quite good.
Yeah. We'll talk about the whole thing later on. I was going to go off on that, but we'll save that for the Alien vs Predator videos. So yeah, that was Predator 2. We didn't get we didn't see another Predator on film until for another 14 years. That's a bit mental, is that? In AVP in 2004, which we're going to talk about separately. We didn't see a standalone Predator movie for 20 years. So from 1990 until 2010, we didn't have a standalone Predator movie, which is mental, because it was like, had such a big following. It was so well liked. The 2010 movie even Predator 2 gets a lot of stick, doesn't it?
I honestly don't get it. It's one of those things like, oh, Iron Man 2 was the shittiest film ever made. It's like, it really wasn't. It's like the same sort of thing. It's like, oh, Predator 2 was a big pile of shit. It's like, it's a pretty good film. Like, it's a decent way of continuing it that's not like just retreading the same stuff as the original.
Yeah.
I mean, like Danny Glover is nowhere near as like physically imposing as like Schwarzenegger. Like, I think that may be part of it. Like, how the hell's he taking on, like, but at the same time, it's like, well, okay, it's not going to be the same fucking like action hero all the time. It's like a different type of like fight, basically.
It's not even like the Danny Glover characters in Everyman. He's not. He's a really tough cop. You wouldn't want to like mess with him. You know, it's like when he goes to meet King Willie, the gangster. He ain't scared at
I don't know. It
all.
sounds more like he's going to meet the Ktofer, King Willie.
He is. But yeah, the design of the Predator is an interesting one because obviously you've got like two kind of faces. You've got the mask, and then you've got the face underneath. And obviously lots of little things with the design. Obviously they changed things up over the years, but yeah, really iconic kind of look to it. And I think that those first two movies, they looked really good way that they were done. Really kind of menacing and had like a reality about it, as ridiculous as that sounds. Whereas some of the later ones, kind of like the Alien movies, the aliens just looked really like even H.R. Giger in an interview, I think he described the aliens in the later movies as looking like actual shit. Not just like, oh, they look shit, but like saying they look like actual shit, which is funny. But if you watch like the evolution of the Predators, obviously technology's improved over time, but it just seems like those original two movies, they look the best. I don't think they ever looked as good as they did after that. The 2010 movie, I liked. Again, it wasn't as good as the first two. In some ways, it's a retread of the first film, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I liked it as well, especially with it going in like a slightly different way. It's like, yeah, it's very similar to the first film, but it's got an interesting like twist at the end when you realise they're not actually on Earth.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, they've got spaceships. Like, why would they just hunt like the same things in the same place when you can literally take them somewhere else and do something else? Like, well, why wouldn't you?
Yeah. A lot of new ideas in that they introduced like different tribes of predators kind of fighting against each other. You've got like those predator dogs that are really cool. Just so many like good ideas in that film and executed quite well. Adrian Brody's very good as the main lead in that film. There's some disappointing stuff. I remember it was more from the trailer. It showed Lawrence Fishburne in there, and he's like not really in the film all that much, and his character's a bit kind of crap as well. But subverting expectations, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I really like Lawrence Fishburne. He was awesome in Blade films.
Yeah, oh yeah, and was good in Die Hard.
Racist motherfucker.
Anytime we mention Lawrence Fishburne, it's gotta be done.
Well, pretty much any actor of color actor just to commemorate that guy is like, so do you know the difference between me and
yeah, it's been
like, I'm pretty sure it was just a slip of the tongue, but at the same time, it's like, for fuck's sake, guy, you're supposed to be like a what is it, like a film reporter, and you don't know the difference between. Fuck, dude.
Yeah. Quit while you're ahead. So yeah, that was that, and then after that in 2018 we had another Predator movie, and it was called the 2010 film was called Predators. So they basically took what Alien and Aliens did, and then they changed it. The 2018 film, again, lack of imagination, is called it The Predator. So whereas the original film was just Predator, they just added the words.
Yeah, that it was a bag of crap.
Yeah, so many issues with that, and there were so many like directions they were going to go, and like did reshoots, and
it's like, you see, the direction they should have gone is not making it a massive pile of shit. That was where they went wrong.
Yeah, it was Shane Black, who's a pretty good film director, and he wrote the original Predator film or co-wrote it, did the screenplay or whatever, and was in the film as well. He directed the 2018 film, having done a few other good films over the years, like Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, and he'd done Iron Man 3. And yeah, you've got like this autistic kid who figures out how to understand the predator technology or something and decode their language or something like that. It was just, what the hell?
I get it. You want to destigmatize autism. That's fine. We're all behind that. Like, a lot
Yeah,
of people have only a very surface level understanding of that, and I'm one of them. But at the same point, I'm pretty sure that autism is not secretly a superpower.
Yeah, and they made out that was the next step in the human evolutionary cycle as well. It's like, I don't think it is. I mean, it might be with all the SJW stuff, I suppose. If that's the next step in evolution, I guess they're ahead of us. Autism seems to be linked in with that. And I'm not even like saying that to be bitter or anything. It's just, I suppose you could make that case, but I don't think that's where the film was coming from. Is my point? It just kind of came out of nowhere. And then some of the stuff they do in this, I mean, I'm assuming anybody's watching this has seen these movies. Like I said, these aren't reviews for people that haven't watched it necessarily. But what you might not know is if you remember the ending of the 2018 The Predator film, there's the main character gets this gift from the good predators, and it's like a sarcophagus shaped thing. It looks like there's a person inside it, and the thing opens up, and it's like almost like an Iron Man suit. It kind of like flies at the guy, and it all kind of like puts armor on around him, and he's got like sort of predator armor that he's wearing, and it's like, right, let's go hunt some bad predators, and credits roll.
Yeah, it's like, okay, you directed like an Iron Man film, but that doesn't mean like, that's the only thing you can do now.
Yeah.
So just kind of a little bit like, look, okay, I know you were like Psylocke in an X-Men film, but that doesn't mean your scientist character is a fucking ninja.
Yeah. Right.
Yes.
I don't know if that what happened then. FB was ringing me and it like interrupted. I think we're still recording anyway. Let me just turn the sound off there. So yeah, Olivia Munn is in the film as well, and she was okay. But
yeah, I mean, to begin with, the character's quite well. It's just basically how she's portrayed at the end. It's like, I could sort of buy this character knowing how to shoot or something, or being quite athletic, if that's been established. But just out of nowhere, she's like jumping up and like climbing around on the fucking predator and stuff. It's like, you're not a ninja. Like, what the fuck? Where did this come from? Like, when the fuck was this abilities like established? Like, what the fuck?
yeah. But anyway, like I said, the ending of that film, you've got this Iron Man suit that's like the gift from the Predators. It comes out of a sarcophagus. It looks like there should be a person in there, but they open it up and this like almost Iron Man suit thing like assembles itself on the main guy as an armor, a suit of armor that he can then fight the Predators with. That wasn't actually how it was supposed to play out.
I mean, at least thank God it wasn't on the kid, because that would have been embarrassing. But yeah.
So there are 3 endings that they were going to go with, and I'll go from least bad to worst bad in that order, like the worst in that order. So ending number 3 that they didn't go with it was a no-brainer. It was going to be Arnie was going to step out of there, and he was going to be like, yeah, I'm the ultimate predator killing weapon. Get to the chopper or something.
I mean, like I said, I could have sort of. I mean, it's very dumb, but I could have sort of seen that.
Yeah. So Arnie didn't want to touch it, funnily enough. So they didn't go with that. But you can tell that's what they wanted to do. The second worst ending that they were going to go with was the sarcophagus opens and there's a person in there, and they have like some kind of like they're in stasis, and they've got some kind of like mask on that for some random reason looks like a face hugger mask. And you can see the pictures of this. They rolled camera on this stuff. You can look it up. Alternate endings for the Predator. And it was a woman underneath. You don't get to see her. She never comes out of it. But it's got like the label Ellen Ripley. She was going to be in there. She was the gift from the Predator movies in the modern day, like current year, to fight the Predators. That makes no sense.
Yeah, it's like, I'm pretty sure the Predators have never had a time machine that I'm aware of.
Yeah, and she never faced off against the Predators as well, so that makes no sense at all. And there wasn't anything about her specifically. It was just she was in the right place at the right time with those movies, So yeah, that was the second worst ending. The worst ending they were going to go with was the same sort of thing. They open it up, somebody's in stasis, but they awaken, and it's a young female, like in her 20s or something like that, with a name badge, Rebecca Jordan, as in Newt, the little girl from Aliens. Why?
I mean, at that point, fucking Hicks would have made more sense. At least he fought aliens. Newt just hid from them.
Like I said, this isn't like something that they just wrote as an idea. They actually rolled film on this. You can see like the photographs of it and Rebecca Jordan.
It's like this was put in front of test audiences, and people were like, "No, this is just too retarded. Like, what the fuck are you doing?"
Yeah, I don't know if it was edited together, but I know they filmed it. But yeah, it just goes to show, like, what the hell were they thinking with that? So yeah, those are the Predator movies anyway. Starts
Yeah,
out
like started out good, kind of went down the hill. Well, I mean, to be fair, there is like the new Predator film Prey, which is a lot better than some of the other shit they've churned out recently.
yeah, I would agree. Like I say, I mean, I'm sticking to the cinema-related movies, but that film is better than the 2018 film, which had a cinema release, hands down. Some people say it was better than the 2010 film. I'd say maybe not, but I can
Yeah, I
think.
mean, I certainly like the 2010 film more, but at least it's trying to do something different rather than like, ah, yes, and now there's different factions of predators fighting, and there's a predator killing suit and all this other like bullshit, which is like, this isn't going anywhere interesting though. This is kind of stupid. Like with this, it's going more into the comic booky kind of like train of like, okay, like the predator at the end after the what is it? Not hit. Shit, I've got Hicks in my head now. Like whatever the cop is in the second one.
Oh,
Fuck, I knew his name a minute ago.
Harrigan.
Hannigan. Yeah, after he beats him, he gets given this like really old like musket, kind of like almost like piratical pistol, like implying like the aliens have like hunted in other time periods like earlier on.
Raphael.
So that's what like Prey is. It's like it's hunting like a Native American like tribe.
Yeah, Raphael Adelini, wasn't it?
Mm.
Yeah. So we'll have to cut it short now because we've kind of gone over time a little bit. But yeah, those are Predator films. Kind of mirrors the Alien movies in a lot of ways. Like you've got the first two are very good, and it just kind of third one's pretty good, but notably not as good. And then the fourth one is just like a big departure. I would say Alien Resurrection is much better than the 2018 Predator movies. Not to mirror it exactly, but you can see the decline.
Yeah, I've just got one more thing to say about the Predator films.
Is it a Topher and Buff reference?
Calling back to the first film. That was that time when you were running around with the black light at Buff's farm, and you found a guy in like a Arnold Schwarzenegger mask. You pulled it off, and it was the Topher. And you're like, you ugly mother. All right, I'm done.
Right. So we'll be back tomorrow to talk about the AVP movies, and then the day after we're going to talk about Prometheus and Alien Covenant as part of this 4-part video, 5 parts if you count the little prelude video I did the other day. And then we're going to come back on Halloween night itself. That's not going to be out of the Alien or Predator movies. That's something else we're going to kind of reveal later on. So I think we'll try to get you back, Core, for all these if we can. It's been pretty good. Right, we'll leave it there. Come back tomorrow night. Bronix Reviews. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you next time.
So that was our Predator movie retrospective. If you didn't see it, go back and check our Alien Quadrilogy retrospective as well. And also come back tomorrow at 6 PM because we're going to be talking about the 2 Alien vs Predator movies from 2004 and 2007. That's coming tomorrow. Check it out.
Who's this having a piss behind here, eh? Whoa!